Hi everybody, it's Diana with Stamping with Di. Welcome to another week of fun videos. So if you are never been here before, my name is Diana and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona, and I probably look super hot. I just came in from outside. If anyone has any tips to keep the birds out of my flower pot, they are just tearing the plants out, and I don't know what's going on. I even moved the plants from one pot to another, and they're still doing it. So I will be looking for suggestions. So I was out there doing that. So I apologize if I look a little sweaty. It is very hot in Arizona. And I would love to welcome you to my channel. So if you have been here before, welcome back. And if you are new, make sure you always let me know where you're viewing from. It is so fun to see where people are watching from. Really fun to see. And it is really a small world. And this totally makes that even more like a realization, right? All right, so if you have never been here before, Mimeograph Monday with a twist. Basically, Mimeograph Monday is I'm casing a project out of the catalog. Today, I'm actually doing one from the celebration brochure. There's some cute samples in there. And then with a twist, then I just do a variation of that card with my own little twist on it. So you get two cards for one on Mimeograph Monday with a twist. And so let's see who all is here. We have Ginny and Annie. She's new. Candy and Lori and Lanza. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to stop blabbing. I'm looking around, make sure I got everything. And I'm just going to cover this up while I get in position so you don't get too seasick while I get this ready to go. And give it a second to focus. All right. Okay, focus, focus. Ba, ba, ba. All right. So while that is figuring itself out, oh, there's a mama's cardinal nest. Oh, in your baker's rack. I don't know what is up with the birds. Jeff feeds them, and he says, you know what? I'm going to stop feeding the birds, and but I don't know if that would have anything to do with while they're eating the plants. All right. I'm like, why is it not focusing today? All right, it's focusing on my hands. Go down, 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 down. There we go. That's better. Okay, so every month I have a different host code, and this is July's code. And like I always say, if you are ordering over 150 before tax and shipping, and that is so easy to do right now with celebration going on, don't use my code because then you'll get your own hostess benefits. But if you're ordering less, then please use this code unless you're in a stamp club. Or I also have a couple girls out there that got their own codes. So if your friend has a hostess code that she gave you from my store, and you want to make sure you use their code and not mine. If you have any questions, just holler. So that is July's code. All right. Today starts the new pick of Paper Pumpkin, and I usually don't get Paper Pumpkin. I stopped it a while ago only because I had all these stamp sets that basically once a month's up, I really don't have any use for them because it's not like I can sell them. So I stopped, but August, I joined back up again to get August because look at how gorgeous. It's sunflower. I love sunflowers. I have sunflowers all over the studio. I even have a tattoo that's a sunflower. So I was like, oh my gosh, did they know that I quit and they wanted me to come back? Because this was the way to do it. So anyway, so make sure if you want the August, now this is until August, make sure you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin from today till August the 10th. All right. And then here it just explains too what all you're going to get. You'll make 9 cards, 3 of each 3 designs. There's envelopes. There is a stamp set in there. There's honeycomb shaped pre-cut pieces, which look amazing. And there is 2 classic spots. Usually you just get one, but you're getting crushed curry and a soft suede. So that's super cool. But anyway, so if you need more information about Paper Pumpkin, make sure you let me know. All right, so let's get to the project. So this is what I'm going to be doing today. So here's the card. So like I said, hey Barbara, and Sherry's here when I get the celebration brochure, because there's samples in here. So it's showing celebration product with the annual catalog product. So whenever you see AC, that means annual catalog. That's just a short form. So this is the card I'm going to do right there. And it actually uses this amazing DSP, which is shown right here. So for a $50 order before tax and shipping, you can pick this pack of the 66. It's silver and gold. So you've got gold. So there's gold like foil, there's polka dots, and then it goes to silver. And you know me, I love silver. But this card used the gold, so that's what I use today. So that's what I'm going to do. So now I'm getting all this stuff off my desk. So here's my little recipe. So I knew what I had to grab. All right. So we are using this cute stamp set right here, Forever Friendship. And it's got some cute little things on it. And I love the typewriter. I was a secretary in another life. And the plants and the cute little cardigan. It's just got some cute sayings like time for a card again. And then happy birthday. And it's got the cute little sweater there. So this is a fun one. So this is what we're going to use. It is a cling. All right. So if you are new, cling just means it's red rubber. So you're going to need clear blocks, whether you get a red rubber stamp or a photopolymer, because they both come off the blocks to be stored away. All right. I'm also using the layering circles. And for my twist card, I switched it up with the stylish shapes, just so that I can get these off my desk. All right. So let's start with the catalog one. So we have mint macaron as our card base. Oh, and I always put them together, Ginny. It was just that, you know, as a demonstrator, once that stamp set, it is just, I don't know, I can't do anything with it, right? Because it's not like a current stamp set. All right, so this is going to go on here. This is the inside. So let me really quick just stick this to the inside. So I just had so many. Oop, I'm going to have to get some more adhesive. It's getting low. So I was just like, you know what? So I just stopped. And now I just kind of keep an eye on them. Like it's like, oh, if there's one that just is totally screams me, like the sunflower one, it's easy to just start it back up. If you do have a subscription, you can always pause it and then just, you know, make it go when you're ready. If you are not a subscriber, now is a time to subscribe. You can get, oh, I can't even think of the word, where you can get a few months at a time. That's subscribing. But anyways, so you would just go to my store and you would put in like 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, even a year, and you're actually earning celebration that way. And then you get a code, and then you just put that code in when you want that month or whatever. All right, so this was just the inside. I just put a little bit of that gold on the inside there. Now, they actually did some with the blends to change the look of this DSP. So we're going to take a mint macaron, and I probably should have did it to the one on the inside, but that's okay. All right, so I want my grid sheet. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take Pale Papaya. Now, they used Petal Pink, but Petal Pink was so faint, I went with pale papaya instead. They're very similar. And mint macaron, and this is the dark of each one. And all we're doing is we're just going to add some more little stripes. And I'm just trying to go in between the ones that are already there. So we're just going to add a little bit of color to our paper. So this is the pale papaya. So we're just kind of making it look like plaid. And I'm just using the grid sheet so I can kind of keep my line. I'm not trying to be straight. They're like kind of wiggly wobbly. I wish you could see, what the stamps look like. Yeah, now they don't usually show the stamps, but at least it gives it a hint. And I love sunflowers, so I'm like, okay. And I think the little flyer kind of shows it a little bit, like what it might look like. It's kind of like Christmas time, right? You don't know what you're getting. All right, so now this is the dark mint macaron, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm just trying to go in between those gold lines, and this just gives it a different look. So like I said, I'm not trying to go straight. They're just kind of wiggly wobbly, because even the lines on the DSP are wiggly. All right. If you want them to be straight, then you would just use a ruler, but I'm just going quick. All right. So now you have, and it's kind of hard to see, but now you have this look, instead of just the gold lines, you have color going on. All right, so let me just turn this over here. Okay, now also we are using watercolor paper, and it's been a while since I've used the watercolor paper. So this is a Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and when you use the watercolor paper, you want to use the jet black Stays On, so that it dries really, really well and dries, and then it's waterproof. But when you use Stays On, you don't color with these because they will bleed out. I can color here because the Stays On is not going to be on the DSP, but when I color my little typewriter, I'm going to use my water painter, and I'm going to actually use the ink refill. Well, it's the ink pad, but I squirted the refill in there. All right, so we're going to go Smoky Slate and Sweet Sorbet. So all I did was I just, look at that. I got a mess already. Hang on a minute. Wipe my finger off. So I just squirted refill into the lid. You can squeeze them and all that good stuff, but I usually just put the refill in the lid, and then I just color from there. All right, so let's bring this over. So this I just stamped with the Stays On, and this is just watercolor paper. So it gives it this nice kind of a canvasy look. All right, I'm also going to use one of these right here, like looking all over. This is just like a makeup sponge or nail polish sponge or whatever, but this is just going to allow me to clean my brush in between. So I just give it a squeeze and then it cleans, because you can see I used red the last, so there's a little bit of red coming off the brush. All right, so this is just the smaller one. Let's see. Oh, because I usually don't use the other one. Hang on a minute. Yeah, I usually just use these ones. But anyways, it's a 3-pack. All right, so let's get that over there. So we're going to grab the Smoky Slate, and we're just basically using the ink lid like a paint palette. And then I'm just going to be coloring on here. And if you've never used a watercolor paper, it colors so lovely. I mean, I just feel like an artist when I use it. and it allows you to move your water around. All right, then we want these little keys to have some gray as well, and the space bar. I remember learning how to type in high school. And I remember when I worked for like my first job as a secretary, and it was a typewriter, and it was way different than high school, right? Because it had like a memory and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, all right, so I'm just putting my keys, just getting a little bit of color on the keys. Then I'm just going to squeeze and clean. And this is just our silicone, and I just cut it into 4 so that this way, because this gets pretty wet. And then this just keeps the wet from getting all over my table. All right, so then we're going to go to our sweet sorbet. So I'm just giving it a little squeeze just to move that color around a little bit. And then I'm just getting some of it off into the lid. All right, so now we want to color our typewriter. And this is just sweet sorbet. Now, sweet sorbet and mint macaron are a couple of the colors that are in that DSP, or in that, well, not this DSP yet. Now I kind of might have spoiled my tweak. But anyways, this is what they used in the catalog. But when I made my tweak, I used DSP instead. So in it, I like to come up with something new, and I'm always like, oh, which one do I like better? And then today I was like, oh, I'm not for sure which one. I like them both, but I like them both in different reasons. Okay, so then this is just one coating of the sweet sorbet, and now I want to add a little bit more of the sweet sorbet where it's more solid, where it's not blended out with the water as much, so I can get just a little bit of like dark. You just want to make sure that the first coating is all the way dry. If it's still a little wet, when that ink hits the wet, it will pull that ink out. So you want to make sure it's all the way dry, or it's hard to add that extra coating up to get like your dark and your light. All right, so that looks pretty good. And then I want to put just a little bit in here around the keys, because that's how it was in the catalog. So I'm just putting a little bit. And then I need to squeeze, because I forgot that pusher thing that knocks the keys, right? Now, if you are a young person watching my video, you might have never used a typewriter before. All right. So there is our typewriter. All right, so we're going to go back into the sweet sorbet, and I want to just highlight this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm just going to go in here and make a heart. But I didn't go all the way, like I still want to see the writing around the edge. So we've got our little heart there. All right. Then I also want to put a little bit of splatter, because that's what they did in the catalog. But I'm going to take my sweet sorbet marker, my sweet sorbet Stampin' Blend. And I'm just going to flick on here, and it shouldn't mess with the stays on too much, will it? Maybe I better not. I didn't do it on my first one, so I'm just going to do it with this. All right, so we're just going to tap, 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 and that's just going to put some little flicks. You can see them going everywhere. I should have put this under. What a mess. Hang on a minute. So just going to put some little flicks around. All right. Then we can put this together. Look at that mess. It's like a Stephen King novel. All right. So let's get this snipped out. We also need, oh, I forgot, I forgot our greeting. And I need that with Sweet Sorbet. Hi, Ian. So, all right. So I just can't thank you enough. And I'm going to stamp it twice so that I have one ready for my twist card as well. All right. And I have splatters on my fingers. I also got the other day, because I didn't have these when I was showing the catalog stuff. I'm not using this today, but this is the gold. It's really pretty ribbon. And then we have, look how cute, glitter washi. So I was excited to get that. Isn't that cute? All right. So that's just so I could show you that. All right. So now we can go back to this. So we are just going to trim this out. And I'm putting a little bit of a white border around it. So I'm not cutting it right on the line. I love that splatter. And it's easy to splatter with the blends as well. And I need to remember to do that on the other card. But the blends ink is an alcohol ink, and it reacts to the stays on ink. So that's why when you use the Stampin' blends, you use the memento pad, not the stays on. If you're watercoloring with the water-based pads, then use the stays on, especially if you're using the watercolor paper. All right, so let's bring our card over, and I'm also going to bring the Stamp-A-Majig over because this is my card, and it's the same size as this. So to make this stick on easier than trying to glue it and going like this and having it not work right, we're going to use the Stamp-A-Majig, or the Stamparatus, and I'm just going to put this magnet in here just to kind of hold it in place. And then we're going to put some dimensionals back here so that this DSP will kind of stand out from the card, so you'll see like a shadow. So I'm just going to put a few of these around. And these are the Big Mama dimensionals. And I'm going pretty close to the circle so that the circle doesn't sag. So we're using quite a few. You know me, I love dimensionals. And look how many I used on this card. So if you mailed this, it definitely would need an extra stamp just because of that thickness. All right, so peel all these off. So let's see. Hi, Diana. Nice name. All right. So hopefully I haven't missed any questions. All right. And then I'm just going to stand up, and then we're going to line it up with the Stamparatus. So then you have this on there perfectly like that. And you can see this, it's like sticks out. So you can see the shadow from that card. All right, so let's get this out of the way and bring this over. All right, now I also want to tie some Baker's twine. Now this is just the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. It comes as a 5. I've already taken the white out and I put it onto the wood bobbin. All right, so we want some of that. We're going to wrap it around our typewriter. I love a typewriter. I don't even know what I did with my typewriter. I had an electric one, and I always like to type the letter, and then you could make it go print or something, and it made it sound like I was the fastest typer in the world, but I really wasn't. I still am not. All right, so I just put a little bit of Scotch tape on the back just so that it holds that in place while I'm tying it. All right, so we're going to tie this in a pretty little bow. So I'm just going to go one loop. Is that a loop? And then another loop. So I'm actually doing 2 loops. And then what this does is it just makes it hold in place better while I'm tying. Because see, I can let it go and it still holds that, you know, because that extra little loop-de-loo. All right. Tie just like we tie our shoes. Okay. And then I'll trim. All right. And then that's going to go on here. Now, where are my sayings? Here we go. So now the saying, we're going to trim out. So we saved one for the other card. And I'm just fussy cutting, just with my scissors. Hey, Donna. All right. So I'm just going, I just can't, and I'm just trimming in between here, very skinny like. Thank you enough. All right. I just can't thank you enough. All right. And then let's put this on the card. So we're going to go big dimensionals. And there. So that's going to lay in here like that. And then we have our I just can't thank you enough and my glue dots. Here we go. So I'm just going to have these kind of off to the side. So I want my I just can't. So this is going to go, I just want it on the right side. And then same with the thank you, because it's going to be on that on the DSP side. All right. So let's do backwards. So we have enough. All right. Thank you. So they're just kind of wiggly. Oop, hang on a minute. I peeled my glue dot off. Just give it a spin. There we go. And what I'm going to do is, so they're kind of crooked, right? They're not like perfectly straight. I just can't thank you enough. But now these are kind of floppy, right? They're floppy. And I don't want them floppy. So I'm just going to turn this over. And I'm just going to cut my dimensionals really skinny right off the side here. And I'm just going to use these pieces to stick up underneath there. Easy, easy. Use your pick tool. All right, we're going to peel and stick that underneath there. So now this has got, see, it's not floppy anymore. So everybody needs a pick tool. I should have left them on the dimensional. I should have left some of it on there. Or on the, so it's a little easier to pick up. But that's all right. That's okay. And then we just stick it up underneath there. And if it's too long, we just trim it. No big deal. Not a big deal. We also have scissors there. And enough. This is such a cute card. Oh my gosh. I love the little typewriter. And speaking of Stephen King, I finally finished. Jeff got me a Stephen King book. He's my favorite author for Christmas. And I finally finished it. And then I also ordered myself a book light because then I can read at night. All right, so we have our I just can't thank you enough. We also got to have a little bit of bling, and these are the festive pearls. And I've just put a sticker on here because the packaging still says a different name, and so I just stuck that on there. And these are actually the goodie for July. So if you are ordering in my store and you order 75 before tax and shipping in July, you earn a goodie or a gut. And these are the goodies. So I'm going to use those today. All right. So they have silver, gold, red, and soft succulent. So I'm going to pick the soft succulent and stick them around here and around there with our pick tool. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you've got a little bit of bling going on there. Hey, oh, yay, first live, Donna. All right, so there is the catalog version. All right, so now let me do my twist. So I'm just going to clean up this just a little bit. Get all that mess. Okay, so this was the catalog one. So I need to keep that so we can compare them at the end. All right, so now I want to do my twist. And my twist is also using mint macaron. So that's your card base. And then this is what I was talking about, the DSP. I wanted to use DSP this time. And this is actually from this is Celebration as well, this DSP pack. And it is the ring, something ring. This, Rings of Love. So that's where this DSP comes from. And I thought, I'm going to use DSP because then I don't have to do the lines and stuff, but I'm still getting that same kind of an idea with a plaid or a checkerboard. All right. So we want this on the inside, just like before. And I'm going to put it down here instead. And then I didn't put anything on the inside. Oh, no, Susie, I've just started my twist card. All right. So this time, I didn't really stamp anything on the inside of this one because I'm using the typewriter that has a thank you, as well as the I just can't thank you enough, which I feel is really the inside greeting, but we're putting it on the outside. So this way, it's just going to be a note card that you can stamp another greeting in there, or you can just write your note. All right, so this is going to go on the inside. I don't need this because I am not going to use the watercolor this time. Surprise, I'm going to use the blends. All right, so that's the inside of the card. This time, I'm going to put it like this. So we're just going to set this over there for a minute. All right, so I stamped my typewriter ahead of time with the Memento this time. So if you are new to stamping, when you're using the Stampin' Blends, which are these handy dandy little markers, you want to use the Memento. So like I was talking about when you use the watercoloring on the watercolor paper, you use the Stays On, and then you don't color with the blends or it will just bleed. Right, so that's, because some people are like, well, when do I use the Memento? When do I use the Stays On? And that's my take on it anyways. All right. Okay, so let's go to our typewriter. So we have our cute little typewriter. And so I'm going to have it be very similar. So I'm going to take, all right, so we're still going to do the little heart. And I'm going to take my pale papaya. So my heart's going to be a little lighter. So it's just a little bit lighter than the red. And then the one I did before I did the red. So it's just going to be a tad bit different. All right. Then we're going to take our light gray granite and do all of our metal with the gray granite. But I felt like the inside of the typewriter would be gray, not red. So I'm changing that up a little bit. And then I also feel like the inside here where the keys are would also be gray, like it would be metal. So I'm coloring this gray instead of the red. So this is just a light gray granite for the inside of our keys. But then I'm going to take my dark smoky slate because I want it to be an obvious dark. So then I'm just going to touch here and there with that dark smoky. Oh, hang on a minute. I want this also to be gray granite. That little sign or whatever. All right. And then I'm going to just tap quickly on this underside of my keys. So my keys have two tones to them. All right. You don't have to do every single one of them. And then underneath the space bar. All right. So to me, it looked a little bit more realistic. All right. Then I'm also going to take my light, soft suede. Oh, I know, Donna, right? Oh, thanks, Diana, for sharing. All right. So then I'm going to take my light, soft suede, and we're going to shadow where we want the red to be a little bit darker with the soft suede. So I want it to be a little bit darker there. A little bit darker here, here, also down here along that where the table is or whatever. All right, so that was light soft suede. Then I'm going to take my dark sweet sorbet, and what that does is it just gives me almost like 3 different variations of the sweet sorbet. All right, so then this is the dark. So I'm going to go right over that soft suede. So now I've got like a 3rd dark sweet sorbet. And then I'm going to go out just a little bit so you can see that dark, and then it's not as dark. And then we will go with the light. So this just gives you kind of almost like a more natural red, like a natural dark. Because I wanted it to be a little more darker than the dark sorbet was actually giving me. So light, soft suede to the rescue. All right, then I'm going to take my light sweet sorbet and finish it in. So now you can see you've got dark, really dark, and then the light. All right, so color that. So it's a much more vivid, color. Plus you've got, this is just the whatchamacallit, the basic white. So it's got more of a white color than the watercolor paper has almost, let's see, I have a piece of whisper, so you can see the difference. So this is watercolor paper, and then this is the basic white. So can you see the difference? It might be a little harder to see on the camera, but there is when you're looking at it like in your eyeball for real. Okay, so now I want to also do the same thing with the flicking. So I'm going to take my light sweet sorbet. Oh, I just flinged my lid, and I'm just going to flick. So we're going to have just some more little flicks on there. All right. So that's a little easier than, tapping with the water brush. So we've still got our little flicks going on. I also want my greeting. So I wanted the layout of this card to just be a tad bit different because I didn't do tons different. Really, I mean, I kept the typewriter the same color. I just used blends instead of ink pad. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. So I just can't thank you enough. Just can't. All right, so there's that. Let's cut this out really quick. But look how cute the typewriter is. Oh my gosh. And so do you like the heart a little bit different color? So like I said, I did petal pink, but not petal pink. I did pale papaya, but pale papaya and petal pink, they go together so well, I think. Like I use those a lot together with the blends because they blend together really well. So it's not like obvious when you're looking at it that, oh, well, the cardstock is one color and that blend is another. It's not super obvious. All right, so we're just cutting this out like we did the other one with a bit of a white border around there. And when you're cutting, you want to move the paper. See, I'm moving the paper, not just squeeze the scissors and then move the paper. It makes cutting a lot easier. All right. So let's put the card together. Let's bring our card over. So now what I want to do is I want to also put the card direction this way. All right. I'm also going to glue this directly and not pop it up. And I'm like trying not to use too much because I am almost at the end of my seal. All right. So I'm going to glue this directly to the card. So it's not going to pop up like the other one. And I'm going to pop up my typewriter instead in the hole. All right, so we've got this. I love this paper. It is so cute. Isn't that such a cute color? All right, so now we're going to take our typewriter. Oops, hang on a minute. Got to put our thread on there. I didn't change that either because I thought it looked too stinking cute with that thread on there. All right. Thread. So this is very similar. It makes me go, we need to use this bigger twine more because it just adds a little bit of definition to the card. All right, so let's tie our bow. Oh, you hated typing in school? I wasn't super good at it. And then we were all in that room, right? And then you were supposed to type, if I remember right, what was on the board without looking and all that kind of stuff. But all right. Okay, get my tails right. All right, cut my ends. Okay, now we can do that. All right, so let's put our typewriter on the card. Oh, Diana loved typing class. And you know what? I think it also depended on your teacher. We had some amazing teachers, and then we had some teachers that, you know, were just so-so. All right, and I think that goes with everything. All right, so then I'm going to put my typewriter right in the hole. So it's just going to go right in the hole. So it pops up. And then we have our I just can't thank you enough. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did before, where I'm going to cut that, whatchamacallit, skinny. And put that on the card. So we've got skinny. Now we do have the adhesive foam sheets, and you could do the same thing. You know, you can cut that whatever size you want. But I have these guys right here, so that's what I'm using. All right, so I just can't. So I kept these as just 2 instead of 3. I just can't thank you enough. All right. Now, I still want to use the Festive Pearls, but this time I want to use the silver ones. All right, I'm trying to clean my mess so that you can't see all this mess. All right, so I'm going to use the silver ones. So we're going to go 1 silver here. So this is kind of that thing on the typewriter, and a silver one there. And then I'm just going to pop them around the card. Now, if you like gold, by all means, you could use the gold as well. All right, and then there. So there's quite a few blings on this one. But do you see that? So now you've got these little silver things on the typewriter dingy-dongy thing. Let's see. Oh, it's fun. See, it's funny, right? Everybody, and my favorite class in school was art. I loved art class. All right. So, and I also love music, but I couldn't read music now if my life depended on it. All right. So, I still love art, obviously. So, there's the inside. So, let's show you. So, here was the catalog version. And this was on page, so remember, it was in the celebration catalog. So, if you are needing more ideas, make sure you look in there because it has got loads of ideas in here too. So that's where I got this card right here. So there is that one. All right, so here's the catalog version, and then here is my twist. Oh, yeah, I used this same DSP for my July class in the mail. It's so fun. Oh, I'm glad you like my version better. And that's the thing. I mean, even though, you know, I work for myself, I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I think we will always be secretaries forever because it's just our mindset, right? Like I like to file stuff. I still like to type. I still have that, secretary mentality, but now I'm a secretary for myself. All right, so there are those two. So I'm glad. Yeah, it's so fun. It's basically the same card. And that's what I meant. I was like, oh, which one do you like? But I like the idea of drawing on that paper. And you could even do that on plain paper, right? Like I could have just used plain paper. You wouldn't get that gold look to it. Thanks, Janice. So there's those two. And then here's the ones I looked at before. So I always do a couple. So this one you can see I did the red heart. So it's a little bit different than the pale papaya. And then here's the other one. So, but they're basically the same. It always is a little bit different on the live just because, even though I've been doing this forever, I still get nervous, All right, so let me turn. You were a paid secretary for 43 years. Wow. I wasn't a secretary 43 years, but I was a secretary for, oh my gosh, I don't know, at least 15 years, working for other people. So I didn't mind. I loved being a secretary, even though I was deaf and sometimes I wouldn't hear the people properly on the phone, which was kind of not good all the time. But, I was really lucky that anybody that I worked for understood that, and they were pretty understanding if I said, Bob's on the phone and it was really Rob, or it was Tim and not Jim, kind of thing. So, it is what it is. But all right. Thank you for the tip with the blender pen. Oh, yes, with the Stampin' Blend just in the lid. Now be careful and just use the brush side because I don't hardly use the brush side. I always color with the bullet point because it is a little rough on your brush, So just keep that in mind if you make a whole bunch of cards and you're doing a lot of flicking. That over time it will tear up. Because let me show you. Old olive. I use old olive a lot. Is it old olive? Yeah. Because this is my old olive. That's my brush. Because I do a lot of flicking with it. But I don't care. Because I don't color with that side. It's just for flicking. So the rougher it is, the better it is. Because I color with that side. So just keep that in mind. I think that's all. But I don't think I had any. Oh, thanks, Ann. So I will get the supplies posted underneath. Give me a little bit of time to get that posted. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. What episode? Episode 134 for my Teach Me Tuesdays episode 134, and that's 3 o'clock Arizona time, same channel. And here I am. I always look for that thing, and then you have to look at my face real close. But so yeah, so I love our little chats. So sometimes I will pre-tape so I can watch live with you, because then we can chat on the side, because I do sometimes miss. So if you ever ask a question and I don't answer you, it's probably because I didn't see the question. So always reach out, like email me, or after the video is done, if you put it down below, then YouTube is so sweet and they will say, you know, Janice asked the question, and then it will make me go to there. All right. So anyways, have a great night, everyone. And I will see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock, same time, same channel. All right. Bye for now.